What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new video. Now today you join me for another car review. As you can see, I have with me the all new Ford Ranger in Supercab body styling. Big thanks to the owner for lending me the car to do a car review on, and big shout out to Super Quick Kloof, which is in the Tzaneen area, a few kilometers outside of Tzaneen actually. But nonetheless, I really do hope you guys enjoy this review. Let's get right into it.
As I woke up in the morning, just thinking about this night. As I woke up in the morning, just thinking about this night.
So let's do a quick rundown of the exterior. Up front, I do quite like the contrast that you get. Oh, by the way, this one in particular is the Wiltrak trim, so it does have some unique touches to it. You have all these contrasts with the glossy black grille with the honeycomb effect. There's also this dark titanium gray finish, which looks absolutely cool. As you can see, this one has a styling bar, which looks absolutely cool. Once again, shout out to Super Quick Kloof. If you want one of these fitted to your car, do check them out, or your Bakkie, so as to say. So you have a huge Ford badge sitting proud right there. Front camera, this one has the 360 surround view camera system. I love the bulge on the bonnet. It just adds so much drama to the car. It gives it so much muscle. If you come around to the side, you have unique alloy wheels for the Wiltrak, 18 inches, gripped by 255 section tires, and yeah, it looks cool. It's the same titanium gray finish, so it's a bit of a theme on the Wiltrak, I guess. There's this little piece on the side with a bi-turbo badging, letting you know the type of potency it has underneath the bonnet. The mirrors are finished in the same titanium gray. I do love these running boards. They look absolutely cool. They feel so beefy when you climb in and out of the car. If you come more to the rear, you have some cool looking bed rails which you can use to tie down some stuff, and this whole thing looks absolutely massive. Even the wheelbase, it is absolutely huge. You have a little side step that you can use to climb into the bed. And coming around to the rear, this one spec'd with all-wheel drive, has a 4x4 badge. There is Ranger embroidered into the bed door. Huge Ford badge once again on the rear, Wiltrak model designation. And yeah, we'll get into the bed in a bit. Let's check out the interior. So the interior on the new Ford Ranger. Let's start with the design and the overall feel of the interior. It's actually a cool looking place. The huge central infotainment screen, all the contrasting that you get with the Wiltrak, with the orange stitching, the little Wiltrak badging on the passenger side, the little Wiltrak embroidery on the seats, the orange stitching on the seats. It's a very nice looking place. So it feels relatively premium, and yeah, it's a cool place to be in. I do quite like these air vents. They mimic the grille with the honeycomb effect. They have some gloss black shiny bits, some silvery bits to it, which does add some taste. So overall, the interior in here feels absolutely cool. So in terms of infotainment screen, you have a choice of a 10-inch display, or you can upgrade to this 12-inch display. Both come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are wireless. As you can see at the moment, I do have Apple CarPlay displayed. Now the climate controls are always displayed on the screen, so it does cut into the amount of size you get with the Apple CarPlay, but it's still big enough. There are some physical buttons at the very bottom for the climate controls. And yeah, next I'll get into the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster, once again, Nothing extraordinary, just the digital instrument cluster where you get to cycle through a bunch of information, tire pressure, driving data, consumption. There's also an off-road menu where you can see a bunch of off-roading information like your steering wheel input, the pitch, and the side angle on the car. That type of information. You can cycle through some towing information, audio, and yeah, that's your lot. Now this one is also spec'd with stuff like blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist. So you get the little lane keep assist graphic right there. It'll change color. It'll go green if you're in the middle of the lines. If you start veering off the lines, it'll start turning orange. And yeah, next up I'll get into practicality, starting with the doors. You have some relatively big door pockets. There's a little cutout where you can fit a big bottle. In the center, you have two cup holders that are huge, and they seem to be nice cup holders. Nice as in they can fit big bottles, small bottles, cans, and so on. There's a little storage area in the center where you also find induction charging or wireless charging. There's also two USB ports, one A, one C. There is the glove box, which is, yeah, it is absolutely massive. There's also this little storage area in the center of the dashboard where you can slide in a phone or something like that, and that's pretty much your lot. Oh, there's also the central cubby. I can't forget that. It is absolutely huge. It is a huge bucket where inside you find a 12-volt socket, which is well appreciated. Some nice leather in here. Yeah, it's quite cool, and that's your lot with the practicality. I think we should check out the room behind the seats. So the main selling point with the Supercab is this: the extra room that you get behind the seats, and it doesn't compromise much of your bedroom. Now back here there isn't much that is interesting. You get these two storage buckets that lock and unlock when you want to open them. You can store some stuff. It's exactly the same on the other side. You twist it to lock, but you do get two USB ports, one USB A and one USB C. There's also a 400 watt plug, which is cool. So let's check out the bed. Now I wish there was like a retractable step to make it easier to climb in and out, because it's not graceful climbing in and out of this thing. Now the bed is laminated with this black protective stuff. Right here you have two plugs, one 12-volt, the other 230 volts, which is quite cool. You can plug in some stuff back here like a fridge if you're camping or something like that. There is a bunch of tie down points all over the bed where you can tie down your stuff, so it's nice and secure. Now in terms of dimensions, lengthwise you're looking at about 185 centimeters. Width you're looking at about 114 centimeters. Now the payload is 985 kilograms, which is, yeah, quite a lot. This thing is absolutely massive. Okay, so let's break down the trim levels and pricing. Now on the Supercab you only get a choice of 3 trim levels. You have the XL as your base trim, you have the XLT as your mid trim, and then you have the Wiltrak as your top of the range trim. Now on the screen right now there will be a breakdown of each of those trim levels pricing. So now with the other body stylings you get extra trim levels. Now I did a review on the Wiltrak X. Do check it out, because in that video I did a full breakdown of the trim levels on the new Ford Ranger in general for all the different body stylings and so on. Now I'll leave the link to that video down in the description below. Now remember, with the Ford Ranger there is a bunch of other stuff that determine the pricing. Now first is the type of body styling you go for, the single cab, double cab, or this Supercab. You can also choose between two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and permanent four-wheel drive, the type of engine that you go for, and gearbox. So all those factors do determine the overall pricing on this vehicle. Okay, so let's get technical. We'll start with the engine choices. Now, bear with me, this part of the video might be a mouthful because of all the different numbers involved. Now, the base engine is a 2-liter turbo diesel with about 125 kilowatts, which is around 171 horsepower and 405 newton meters of torque. That engine you can get with either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, the mid-engine is actually this one, the 2-liter bi-turbo diesel with 154 kilowatts, which is around 211 horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque. Now, this engine is only available with a 10-speed automatic transmission. The top of the range engine is a 3-liter turbo diesel V6 with 184 kilowatts, which is around 252 horsepower and 600 newton meters of torque. Now, this engine, well, that engine is also only available with the 10-speed auto. This car comes with a bunch of technical stuff like off-road suspension. You get a bunch of off-road driving modes, your low range mode, high range mode, different driving modes for different terrains, and the towing capacity is around 3.5 tons. And yeah, it's a proper workhorse basically. So guys, you join me inside the new Ford Ranger Supercab, and let's take it for a quick spin. Now remember, this one has the 2-liter bi-turbo motor with the 10-speed auto gearbox. Oh, this is quite a steep incline, but should be easy for this car. And up and away we go. Oh man, this thing is so massive. Like, the bonnet feels so long and far away, but the sitting position is quite cool. The view outside is very nice and easy. So yeah, it's not intimidating at all. In terms of suspension, like so many Bakkies, it feels mainly bouncy, but I can live with bouncy because bouncy is comfortable. So it is extraordinarily comfortable. And one thing that stood out to me about this car is the sound insulation. You hear almost nothing from the outside, especially if you're playing some music, and it's quite cool. In here I've got lane keep assist, I've got a 360 surround view camera. Oh, another thing that stood out to me is the sound system. I know in these you can get an optional Bang & Olufsen sound system, and this one doesn't have it. So the standard sound system alone sounds really good. It's really satisfying, well balanced, bass is good, volume is good, and I was really impressed with that. So let's talk the motor. Now, there is no, as far as I'm concerned, actually you can go into some kind of manual mode. You have these 2 buttons on the gear lever that you can use to go up and down through the gears, but mainly you're just gonna leave it in normal drive, let it do its thing. So now I want to test out the responsiveness of the engine and gearbox as soon as you go foot flat. Now I'll slow down to about 60 kilometers an hour. I'll go foot flat. It's not the most responsive thing, and there is a bit of lag. And also remember, 10 literal gears to go through, so it does take the car a few seconds to process what it needs to do. And once it's going, the momentum is quite good, but it is not immediate in terms of our throttle response. The power and torque is good. It's easy to pull some overtakes, and like I said, once it's going, it really goes. Now, in terms of all these modern Bakkies, I think the Ford Ranger is my favorite. It mainly goes down to looks and the type of quality you get inside here. The Hilux is really cool, but when it comes to interior quality and tech, it's really lacking. Like, the interior is very dated. Amarok it shares platforms with this car, so underneath the skin they're literally the same car, although they might differ when it comes to mainly exterior design and interior design. But overall, I think to drive and stuff, they'll feel pretty much exactly the same. It all goes down to looks, and I feel like overall the Ranger is the better looking car. It's a lot more distinctive with the C-shaped daytime running lights, and it's my favorite out of all the new modern Bakkies. There's also stuff from GW M or the P series and stuff. I've never experienced those cars, but I know there are options in the market. So yeah, I don't have anything more to add about this car. It is cool, it is comfortable, it is capable, both on-road, off-road, but the owner has notified me about something. The standard tires that the car comes with aren't really good when it comes to off-road grip. So he wants to change to all-terrain tires. So basically off-road tires, the ones that you get on the Wiltrak X. So that is something to note. I did ask him if the off-road tires are good when it comes to sound insulation, and he says they're actually quite good. But these standard tires, when it comes to everyday use, they are absolutely perfect. I think they'll be lurking when it comes to doing some hectic off-roading. That's where the car will struggle a bit. But yeah, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, that's cheers from me.